Bulls Nation, today in this video, we're going to be talking about the finalization of the Chicago Bulls roster. And we're also going to be bringing in some interesting topics about accolades. And what accolades can the Chicago Bulls players win at different positions? Of course, we have the sixth man of the year. We do have the most improved of the year. Obviously, MVP and all these things, coach of the year. We're going to be talking all about those accolades and if the Chicago Bulls players can achieve them in this video. Let's do it. What's going on, everybody? It's the Bulls Show, aka Aidan, and welcome back to another video. Today, we've got a Chicago Bulls related video referring to the finalization of the roster and if certain players can win certain accolades, and if so, who are they? We're going to be talking about some accolades in this video, and in my opinion, some of them might be surprising to you, but maybe some of them not so surprising. But before we get started, please like and subscribe to the Bulls Show, turn notifications on, and let me know in the comments below your thoughts about the Chicago Bulls and the accolades that these players can win. With that being said, let's get started on the first topic of today. It's going to be the finalization of the roster. So ladies and gentlemen, as of now, the Chicago Bulls have finalized their roster with a 15-man team, the two-way contracts, and of course the last spot going to Matt Thomas. Matt Thomas has been an incredible player with this team so far in terms of his specialty, which is the three-point shooting. And we all know he's going to get limited minutes, but can perform in those limited minutes. The question many people will probably have is if Kobe White will return, what's going to happen to Matt Thomas? And that is the topic we'll have to settle up. We'll have to discuss at another time. But for now, I'm very happy with settling with Matt Thomas joining this team and joining the Chicago Bulls. And let's see if he can achieve. Let's see what he can do with this team. And if he has the ability to make sure this is more than just a short-term loan, or if this is more than just a one-year type thing with this team. And I'm very happy to see what he could do. A really interesting team, a bright team, a good team, and a team that could definitely be really valuable for the Chicago Bulls. And of course, the fans that are coming into this arena to watch the Chicago Bulls play, we obviously know and we obviously have an idea of what we can do with this team and how it's supposed to work. The playoffs is the bare minimum for me, and I've said it all the time, and I'm going to continue to say it. The playoffs is the bare minimum for the Chicago Bulls, and if we cannot achieve that, we'll have to have questions that need to be answered when it comes to the players and the coaching staff and of course the front office. But accolades now, ladies and gentlemen. So let's talk firstly All-Stars. We all know what an All-Star could mean to a player. Zach LaVine was an All-Star for the Chicago Bulls last year, and Nikola Vucevic was an All-Star at the time with the Orlando Magic. So we had two All-Stars on the team now that were All-Stars last year. Who can be in the All-Star team, All-Star game this time around? Well, obviously, I think the two favorites to make the All-Star game with this team is Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic. The two reasons why is Zach LaVine obviously is going to be our best player, and Zach LaVine was pretty much a lock. In my opinion, personally, it was a lock. I think it would have been an absolute disgrace if he didn't make the All-Star team last year. So with hopefully an improved season, more wins under his belt, he should be a shoo-in to get into the All-Star game this time around. Of course, things can change, and obviously there are things we may not see, but at the moment, I think Zach LaVine is a lock to be an All-Star. Nikola Vucevic, purely because there are not many good centers in the Eastern Conference. We have Joel Embiid, Bam Adebayo, but I feel like Nikola Vucevic, in terms of the numbers that he puts up at the offense, especially offensively, he makes it very dangerous to not pick him sometimes as an All-Star, because he does put up All-Star numbers and he does show his offensive firepower. The reason why we brought him in is so he could use his offensive firepower against other teams. He's one of the best offensive big men that we have in this league, and especially in the Eastern Conference. So Nikola Vucevic, I think, has a very good chance as well if he continues the numbers that he's putting up in previous years on this team with the Chicago Bulls. And once again, hopefully with more wins under our belt, we could see Nikola Vucevic as an All-Star. There are two other players I want to talk about for this All-Star position. DeMar DeRozan. We all know DeMar DeRozan is still, even now, an all-star caliber player. However, there have been recent years where he has been snubbed from the all-star game. So the question goes, with this time around, will he be snubbed again? If he puts up very similar numbers to what he has been doing the previous years, there could be potential for DeMar DeRozan to be in a very similar spot where he could potentially be in all-star contention. It all comes down to wins at the end of the day. Last time around with the Utah Jazz, they had 3 all-stars on that team. Mike Conley, Donovan Mitchell, Rudy Gobert. And the reason why is because they were the first seed. And the first seeded players, obviously, there are going to be more players on that team that potentially become all-stars. And although it was questionable to add Mike Conley into that fray, he did get in, and rightfully so, with his stats that he showed. If the Chicago Bulls are the #1 seed, then maybe we do see more than 2 all-stars on this team. Maybe we see DeMar DeRozan enter the fray. Maybe we see Lonzo Ball enter the fray. Because let's be honest, Lonzo Ball, impact-wise, could potentially be an all-star for the Chicago Bulls. I think he makes the biggest impact defensively and the way that we play all together than other players. Although Zach LaVine's a better player, although Nikola Vucevic is a dominant big man, Lonzo Ball might be the game changer for this team, and maybe people will have to respect that enough to put him in contention. So those are the 4 players that I can potentially see being all-stars, but we have to be realistic. I don't think all 4 of them are going to get in. I think the best way to put it is that there could be 2 players that get into this all-star fray with the Chicago Bulls, and their names are Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic, purely because Zach LaVine's going to be our best player most likely, and Nikola Vucevic is in a situation where centers are very far and few between in terms of quality, at least in the Eastern Conference, so he does have a better chance than DeMar and Lonzo to become an all-star. And we've seen that with the last 2 all-star games Nikola Vucevic has been a part in, and he definitely deserves to be there as well. Of course, when you put the numbers that you put up offensively, it does speak volumes, and he is an all-star quality center in my opinion. Let's move on into other things. All-NBA, ladies and gentlemen. A pretty interesting one here, a really huge accolade, and I see Zach LaVine being part of this accolade. Now, this by no means is an indication that I think he will be an All-NBA, but let's just say if the Chicago Bulls have a really improved season, have more wins, Zach LaVine is showing his numbers once again. He's improved his defense. He's doing all the right things. Zach LaVine has to be at least in contention for All-NBA. First team, second team, or third team, regardless, he should be in All-NBA conversations. And if he is, that's exactly what he wants to be. And I think he's going to work very hard to get to that All-NBA status so he can get more money from the Chicago Bulls in negotiations. If Zach LaVine is an All-NBA player and he puts himself in that situation where he will remain an All-NBA player and he gets selected and he is part of that prestigious group of the season, then the Chicago Bulls have no questions, have no doubts in their mind that they've got a winning player on a winning team and it's time to sign him up long term. And doesn't matter if he gets more money or not. I think the Chicago Bulls should know by now that you have to give Zach LaVine the contract if he is an All-NBA type player. And again, it's just going to make him even more money. So Zach LaVine's going to work very hard to try and achieve that goal. And I think with the quality that he has offensively and hopefully the improved defense, he could potentially get there. We'll see if the Chicago Bulls can win enough games to give Zach LaVine a prestige like All-NBA. Now, most improved, there are a few players I could put into this one, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of people have been talking about Lonzo Ball and his potential to be most improved for the Chicago Bulls this year. And Lonzo Ball is a very interesting topic for everybody to discuss in terms of the most improved because, again, game changer, like I said. I don't know if Lonzo Ball is going to be most improved. I honestly don't, because I feel like most improved are given to players with a little bit of a lower recognition than Lonzo Ball that works their way up to maintain and have a really good reputation. I feel like Lonzo Ball already has a good reputation, and I feel like Lonzo Ball statistically is going to be a little bit better, but I don't know if it's going to be enough to the point to win most improved in the NBA perspective. However, with Lonzo Ball, I still don't know why people can't mention Lonzo Ball in the Defensive Player of the Year category, because that's the one that I think he's more favorite to win over a potential most improved. Now, of course, these are all hypotheticals, and by no means, once again, am I saying the Chicago Bulls players are going to win these. Of course, it's going to take time, and it's going to take a good evaluation amongst all 30 teams in the NBA to see who wins these awards. But Lonzo Ball, in my opinion, just by his reputation and the way he's been playing in preseason, at least at this point, should be considered as a Defensive Player of the Year candidate. And of course, it's way too early. We have a lot of time for us to be proven right or wrong on that. But at least at this point, with the accolades at the beginning of the season, I truly feel like Lonzo Ball could be in contention for that going forward. And whether he wins or not, most likely he's not going to win Defensive Player of the Year. It's a very hard award to win. But he is a very good defender, and he leads by example on the defensive end. And if he keeps up that defensive pressure all season consistently, then maybe there is a conversation to be had about the Defensive Player of the Year. One player that I think, if given the right opportunity, could win the Most Improved, or at least on the Chicago Bulls side, is Alize Johnson. Now, Alize Johnson is a career average of 5 and 5. And at the end of the day, that's not bad for the amount of minutes and the amount of games he plays consistently. However, with more game time hopefully presented to him on the Chicago Bulls, hopefully if he makes the rotation of this team consistently, he plays more than those 10 minutes per game, 5 minutes per game type of situations, and he does maybe average a double-double, or if he averages maybe 12 and 7 or something like that, maybe there is a potential for a Most Improved for Alize Johnson. Again, I feel like this is definitely unlikely, but out of all the players, Lonzo Ball and Alize Johnson, in my opinion, maybe even Alex Caruso, but I would put it towards Alize and Lonzo, are probably the candidates for Most Improved on the Chicago Bulls. I've already talked about Defensive Player of the Year. I think Lonzo Ball is the only player you can put in that category on the Chicago Bulls. MVP. I mean, if we go on and have a terrific year and Zach LaVine is averaging 30 points and 5 assists, and at the end of the day, we finish in the top 2 seeds or something like that, maybe you could consider Zach LaVine as an MVP. But I do feel like that is a long shot, to say the least. I think that's a long shot. I think that Zach LaVine is already an underrated player, and I feel like even if we do finish in the 1st seed or the 2nd seed in the East, or even in the NBA, I don't think Zach LaVine's going to get the credit that he deserves regardless. I just feel like the reputation's already put on him. He's not a Nikola Jokic in terms of he already had a really strong MVP year prior to his MVP win, and he got the MVP the next year after that. So I don't know if 1 year is going to be enough for Zach LaVine on this level to show if he's an MVP. I do think it's a long shot. But again, out of every player on this team, the only one I could put in that category is going to be Zach LaVine. And Coach of the Year, obviously Billy Donovan is our coach, so that makes a lot of sense. And again, if we have a really strong year, if we are one of the top seeds in the NBA, and considering where we were last year, let's say we finished 11th last year, if we were to finish in the top 3, I think Billy Donovan should win Coach of the Year. You already saw with the way that he coached the OKC side that was meant to finish 2nd last and ended up finishing in the 4th seed. That's a really big step up from where they expected to finish. Obviously, a lot of people have the Chicago Bulls now finishing outside of the playoffs. So if we do make the top 4 seeds, what's the excuse for not giving Billy Donovan the Coach of the Year? Deep down, they know the Chicago Bulls will not finish outside of the top 8. They know the Chicago Bulls will finish in a playoff spot, but they're doing it to cause media riot. They're doing it to cause fan riot. And at the end of the day, if they really think that, and we do make the top 4, then Billy Donovan, in my opinion, should win Coach of the Year. And he's shown it. He's shown it with the OKC. I don't see why I can't show it again. For the 6th Man Award, something that is a really intriguing one, because we do have a very good situation with our bench where we have some players that can score at a high level. Obviously, you saw last year with the bench that the Utah Jazz had, and I think Jordan Clarkson won the 6th Man of the Year for that team. He was an effective scorer, and that was his priority. So maybe if we see Kobe White in that category where he is a primary scorer and he does it at a high level with great efficiency, we could see Kobe White in there. Alex Caruso is an interesting one. If Alex Caruso does what he does in preseason throughout the course of the year, there could be conversations there as well. But I don't feel like the Chicago Bulls are in major contention for a 6th Man of the Year candidate. We'll wait and see. Obviously, time will tell. A lot of people have big questions on our bench. So once again, if our bench goes out and proves people wrong, they're going to have to talk about our bench. They're going to have to talk about who's performing on that bench and why they are as good as they are. So we'll wait and see. That's a big topic of discussion, that 6th Man of the Year candidate. And I feel like Kobe White is the one that we could often talk about, and Alex Caruso. I feel like outside of that, no one is going to get high mention on the Chicago Bulls bench. So we'll wait and see if any of those two could step up to the plate to earn an award as prestigious as that. And again, a Sixth Man of the Year award for Kobe White could elevate his career. So that's something that he needs to look at and maybe try to achieve if he is trying to get high aspirations for the rest of his career. Having an accolade like Sixth Man of the Year as early as he is in his career could be something that could make him a very valuable player moving forward. With that being said, I'm going to end this video here. Thank you guys for watching. Please like and subscribe if you're new. Let me know in the comments below all the thoughts of the accolades the Chicago Bulls will have. Who's going to win? Some of them. Are any of them favorites to win? Of course, this is a long shot. And just by me putting these players in contention for a certain award doesn't mean I think they're going to win the awards. I have to make that clear. If there are any other fans outside of the Chicago Bulls watching this video, this does not mean I think every single one of these players are going to win these awards. Of course, I know there are 29 other NBA teams out there that have a say and have their own conversations, and some even have proof of it before. Jordan Clarkson can win the Sixth Man of the Year award again. Obviously, we have Giannis and you have Jokic that won MVP. Obviously, there are conversations there as well. I'm not saying by any stretch of the means these players will win these awards, but I feel like it's important as a Chicago Bulls fan to talk about potential outcomes throughout the season and potential accolades we may or may not see with this team. With that being said, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for watching. I'll see you in another Chicago Bulls video. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay tuned for more. Take care and peace.